President Trump on board with his party's annihilation of healthcare? Not exactly. In fact, based on what he said over the years, he might be more for something like a single-payer system where the government covers everyone's healthcare costs. And if that's the case, then Mr. President, supporting single-payer could be the only way to redeem your dumpster fire of a presidency. Hi everyone. If you've paid attention to nothing in politics over the last few years, like you still think Feel the Burn is a Jane Fonda workout video, which it is, but wow. You at least still know that Republicans and their billionaire donors have had one obsession for the last 7 years: repeal the Affordable Care Act. And if all goes according to the plan of House Speaker Paul Ryan and Senate Majority Leader Baby Sinclair, 22 million fewer Americans would be insured by 2026, and the Medicaid expansion would be shut down by 2024, something Paul Ryan says he's been dreaming about since college.
So Medicaid, sending it back to the states, capping its growth rate. We've been dreaming of this since I've been around, since you and I were drinking at a keg.
Wow. If you think Paul Ryan is a douchebag now, think about what he was like at a kegger in college. Sick poor, bro. We should keep the poor sick, bro. But what about President Trump? Does he actually agree with his own party on this? Or is he being played by them? We've called him a populist Trojan horse for the 1% before, and that couldn't be any more fitting than when it comes to healthcare, because he'll probably sign whatever bill the Senate passes. But what does Trump want when it comes to healthcare himself? Something simple. Because according to him, nobody knew healthcare could be so complicated. We all just thought it was one of those super uncomplicated things, like bringing all the manufacturing jobs back, or peace in the Middle East. Apparently though, this one's even too hard for Dimples McFlackjacket to solve. Cause the president's comments on healthcare are not complicated at all. They're actually quite simple. Listen to candidate Trump set himself apart from other Republicans by uttering the unthinkable.
I want everyone to have coverage. I do want people to have coverage. If I'm president, people aren't going to be dying in the streets. Those people are going to be serviced by doctors and hospitals. We're going to make great deals on it, but we're not going to let them die in the streets. I don't want people dying in the streets. I don't want people that have no health care whatsoever and they're in the middle of a street dying.
If you're gonna die, don't do it on the street. Find a store or something. A Macy's. They've got great dressing rooms. Trump actually sounds moral. Like he cares? Does Trump care? Because in office, he said multiple times that the failed Republican House healthcare bill was, quote, mean, and that he wanted to see a Senate bill with just one thing.
I want to see, and I speak from the heart. That's what I want to see. I want to see a bill with heart.
A bill that's going to be a phenomenal bill for the people of our country. Generous, kind, with heart. That's what I'm saying. And that may be adding additional money into it.
Yeah, you heard the Republican put heart and money into healthcare. Wait, what? Is this another distraction from that other distraction's distraction? Are we bombing North Korea right now? But Trump has gone even further, praising the single-payer healthcare systems in other countries.
As far as single payer, it works in Canada. It works incredibly well in Scotland.
We have a failing health care. I shouldn't say this to our great gentleman and my friend from Australia, because you have better health care than we do.
Yes, that is correct! Australia does have better health care than the US. In fact, 10 other countries score better than the United States on overall healthcare quality. We're number one. So given that he praises single payer in other countries, he wants the Senate bill to have a heart, and he wants to help even the poorest in our society, does Trump believe in universal health care?
I believe in universal health care. I believe in whatever it takes to make people well and better.
Okay. But that was 20 years ago, and since then he's campaigned to repeal Obamacare, the system which is as close to universal health care as we've ever gotten. So clearly he's reined in those liberal thoughts, right?
Everybody's got to be covered. This is an un-Republican thing for me to say.
Universal health care.
I am going to take care of everybody. I don't care if it costs me votes or not. Everybody's going to be taken care of much better than they're taken care of now.
Who pays for it?
The government's going to pay for it, but we're going to save so much money on the other side. But for the most part, it's going to be a private plan.
A government-subsidized private health care plan that covers everyone? You just described Obamacare, you buffet of human ignorance. Can please someone just slip him a copy of the ACA and write Trump on it so he'll read it? Because guess what? 55% of Americans approve of Obama's Affordable Care Act. Who knew that when you give people health care, albeit expensive and flawed, it's hard to take it away? It's like me and Instagram. I shit on it all the time, but try and take it away and I will get you! So it's no wonder that with all Trump's talk of heart and not dying in the streets, that Trump voters thought they would be taken care of better under Trump than under Obama. And better not in the Paul Ryan keg stand revelation sense of the word, but better for people. And now Trump voters are waiting on their president to deliver.
He said he was going to help us. He was going to put the coal miners back to work, and we're going to have health care and this and that. We need health care. Everybody in this room needs free health care.
I hope that there'll be some kind of health care available to the public. I think it's important. It's important for quality of life.
Everybody has to be insured. Everybody. It's like driving a car. We have to have insurance because if we wreck, guess what? They take our house.
And if you don't have a house, where are you going to die? Can't die in the street. Better find a Macy's, and there ain't none around here. So, Mr. President, you need to be the change you want to see in the world. I'm so sorry, Gandhi. You need to cut across party lines, go the extra step, and bring the country you divided together around single-payer healthcare. Remember, we spend more money on healthcare than any other country in the world. And with more preventative and less expensive emergency care, single-payer might just be a cheaper option, not to mention the right thing to do. States like California and New York are already on their way to passing single-payer, and if they do that, you won't get any of the credit. And sure, most people associate single-payer with your progressive enemies like Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren, but conservative support for government health care is also growing. A Pew Research Center poll in January found that 32% of Republicans think the government ought to make sure all Americans have health coverage. That's up from 19% in March of last year. And almost a quarter of young Republicans favor single-payer. Even some of your fawning cadre of alt-right gurus believe in single-payer. Sure, health care would be just for the whites in their racially segregated state, but once everyone's mental illness is taken care of for free, we can only imagine that farce will end too. Pushing for single-payer healthcare is the only way that you, President Trump, could redeem your syphilitic fever dream of a presidency. Want us to stop talking about Russia? Single-payer. Want to continue retweeting white supremacists? Single-payer. Want to continue wearing a tie that goes below the knee without anyone saying a thing? Single-payer. Think about it. It would be a you to all the Republicans who think they own you. A you to moderate Democrats who are too scared to go for single payer also. And most importantly, a you to Ted Cruz. For old time's sake. It could even get you reelected. You think Hillary Clinton would have gone for single payer? No. This is your fight song. Your take back your pathetic little life song. And if you deliver, 322 million Americans would be guaranteed care with something you talk a big game about, but don't have yourself. Heart. Thanks so much for watching Newsbroke. Remember, this is your time to subscribe, so do it right now. And stay tuned on July 21st. We are going to go live once again, this time with Hassan Piker of the Young Turks. Woo! You might know him as Woke Bay. Also, keep those calls coming into our fraud hotline. The number again is 775-863-7. It's going too fast for me to read. 775-863-2787. Tell us when you felt like an imposter. Do you have imposter syndrome? What do you do when you feel like an imposter? And see you next Friday. This has been great.